Here we are. This is the Arch of Constantine, the last triumphal arch ever erected in Imperial Rome. And we could just walk around it on this side. Let's take a look, guys. Local police on motorcycles, checking out that the tourists are safe. Everybody's doing what they should. Everyone is having a good time. Look, guys, this is an arch made of reassembled marbles of the Imperial age. Probably marbles from the 1st and 2nd century. Also some newer marbles in the later style. Come on the front side. Look at these gorgeous paintings. These are basalt stones. These are actual wedges of black basalt from the nearby Latin volcano, about 11 miles out of Rome. So this would have been the usual heavy traffic pavement ordinance for the streets of Rome. Now, look back up at the arch. Usual imperial inscription, standardized, Senatus Populusque Romanus Dicatum. This is the last triumphal arch. This is what a victorious general would have had erected with the permission of the Senate to celebrate his victory in an important war, an important military endeavor for the city of Rome, for the Republic of Rome, and for the empire later. So what we have now is basically the last triumphal monument ever erected for an emperor in Rome. We'll see some more. Hey folks, yep, that's where we're at. We're on the Sacred Way, La Via Sacra, right next to the Roman Forum, next to the Colosseum. This is the Triumphal Avenue, where the victorious generals used to come in triumph on their chariots, leading their troops and their litors and the war chest, and the captured trophies and the captured enemies in a triumphal ticker day parade through the Forum, in front of the Senate, past the Temple of Saturn, which was the state treasury. And this is the Arch of Titus. This arch is a triumphal arch of the 1st century after Christ. It marks the victorious end of the Judean War, the first rebellion of an entire province against the Empire of Rome. It took the Romans 3 years to defeat the revolt, and the treasure that they brought back from Jerusalem was so vast that it actually paid for the Colosseum and most of the rebuilding in Rome in the late 1st century. This marks the spot of the first diaspora of the Jewish people. This is the Carcere Mamertino, we say in Italian. In reality, it was the only facility for incarceration in the entire Roman Forum. We are at the Roman Forum. This was called the Tullianum, probably because the incarceration facility, the prison facility, was called after the King Sergio Tullio. But it's not certain. Also could be because the underground cell was shaped like a flask, and in Etruscan, that's a tulla, or tullum in Latin. So this is also where, according to tradition, the Apostle Peter, Shimon, his Jewish name, was incarcerated before he was executed here in Rome. Well, this was the facility for the judicial branch of the Roman Republic. So prisoners attending execution or attending trial for severe crimes were incarcerated here. We are in the Roman Forum. This is the heart of Roman life. This is the heart of the Republic. Behind me is the Arch of Septimius Severus of the Severan dynasty, a triumphal arch commemorating his victories. So, as we walk over here, we have the Roman Senate. That's the seat of legislative power of Rome. It's the organ that decided and construed all the laws of the Republic. This is the Senate. Any other Senate in the world is named after this, Senatus. Senatus comes from the Latin word senes, which means having white hair. So it's a council of the elder of the first kings of the kingly age of Rome. Then it became a republic and the Senate stayed. According to tradition, the Senate was invented and established by the first king of Rome, Romulus. This is where all the laws were made. This is where all the famous speeches that anyone who studied the classics were pronounced. Cicero, the great orator and friend of Caesar, and then a foe of Caesar, was there. Cato, all of them. They were all here. Come. This is the Valley of the Roman Forum, and those columns right there, that's the Temple of Saturn. The street, the cobblestone street that goes up the hill, right on the side of the Temple of Saturn, is this sacred way, the Via Sacra. The Temple of Saturn was actually the treasury of the Roman Republic. This is where all the golden bullion and all the silver bullion of the Republic was kept. So all of the public life of the Roman Forum was going on right here. This was all the seats of power, the judicial courts, the legislative branch, the stock exchange, the silver market. Further down towards the river, it was the vegetable market, and then the cattle market was also situated by the river. So this is the center of what became eventually the essence of being Roman. No Roman city would be ever built without a forum at its center. Hey guys, we're on the Capitolium. We're on the Capitolium. This is the head of the city. Caput in Latin means head. This is the most sacred hill of ancient Rome. This is the most sacred hill of ancient Rome. So this was the seat of all the major temples of the state cult of the Romans. The Temple of Jupiter was right there, the largest temple in Rome. This is now town hall. So the mayor of Rome actually has his own offices right here. For the Romans, this was the religious center. The College of the Augurs was right there, right behind this lady. And then where the stairway is, the monumental stairway, was the actual College of the Augurs. The Augurs were state magistrates elected into a religious office. The Augurs actually interpreted the signs of the gods and the will of the gods in any public matter that the Romans had to decide, especially in the building of new buildings, of new divisions of the city, new city limits. Any street, road, monument, temple had to be approved by the College of the Augurs. So this is not just the Capitol Hill for the Romans as it is today. For the ancient Romans, this is the place where the Temple of Jupiter received the triumphal marches of the victorious generals in the day of their celebration of victory. And the sacred way of Rome passed right through the Forum, all the way up to the Temple of Jupiter. And this is where the Romans gave thanks to their main deity. It was actually a triple temple. It was Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva, the equivalent of Zeus, Hera, and Athena. It was the triad of the Capitolio. This was the religious center of ancient Rome. Trajan's Column, a monumental sculpture commemorating the victory of the Emperor Trajan in the 3-year campaign against the Dacian people in modern-day Romania. This is an incredible feat of engineering. This is the first column that has been erected to sanctify the strength of Rome in a period of warfare in Central Europe, where the Romans were asserting the defensiveness of their northern frontiers by actually expanding beyond the river Danube and controlling and contrasting the populations of the Dacians. These were fierce people, so-called barbarians, simply because they didn't speak either Latin or Greek. In reality, this is a hollow column made of 17 cylinders, gigantic cylinders of marble stacked one on top of the other. The column has a spiral stairway inside of it, carved out of pure marble, and it goes all the way to the top, to where the statue of the emperor was, from all the way at the bottom, where the entrance for service and maintenance was required. If you look at the reliefs, you will see a total compendium of something like 20,000 sculpted figures of Roman legionaries, engineers, raiders, cavalrymen, river patrol boats, pontoon bridges, supply trains, battles, clearing of forests, building of roads, building of fortified towns, incursions. This is the Roman military machine at work, all sculpted in a scroll-like manner that winds itself up the column all the way to the top. The entire scroll depicting the action of the Roman army in 3 years of warfare under the guidance of the Emperor Trajan is actually 200 yards long. It has to be seen like a scrolling movie. It has to be seen like a tale, like an epic saga of what Rome really was. Rome was a machine. It was an incredible civic, military, logistical, political, engineering machine. Its roads, its aqueducts, its army, its institutions, the Senate, the magistrates, the colleges of priests, the governors, the provinces, the lines of communication. Everything made up Rome, and very likely made up the matrix of modern Western society worldwide.